All right, so I'm giving y'all my secret, okay? I've done this enough times, so now I can teach y'all how to do this, okay? Okay, so if you want to learn how to use the color change effect in Photoshop, stay tuned. Period. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's Yvetta. So in this video, I am going to be showing you all how to change the color of clothing in Photoshop. I've done this a few times, and a couple people kept asking me for a tutorial, but I wanted to make sure that I could explain the steps the way that they needed to be explained, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't want to just come over here and be like rambling and trying to figure out stuff. Whatever. Anyways, if you want to learn how to do this color changing effect in Photoshop, let's go. All right, so I just pulled a model from Canva. I will link the template to this model in the description. If you want to just use it to practice with or whatever, or you can just use your own pictures, or just grab a picture off of Google. I recommend using like a plain t-shirt. See how it has this little thing right here? I'm gonna ignore it this time, but make sure it doesn't have any writing or anything on it, just to start off as like a practice model or whatever. But getting right into it, you want to go ahead and open your photo up in Photoshop, duh. And the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and select our model. Usually if I'm doing this, I'm going to be removing the background. So if you do want to remove the background, do that first. I think I'm going to do it just for the sake of this video. But once you put the photo in, you just come over here and click remove background, and it removes the background for you. Next thing we want to do is select our model. So what I'm going to do is come right over here to the quick selection tool and click on it. And then right up here, I'm just going to hit select subject. This automatically selects the model in the photo. See how it has her selected around there? That's perfect. The next thing that you want to do is come up to the options at the top, and I don't think you're going to be able to see which one I'm picking, but you just want to go into, and then under layer, you're going to go into new adjustment layer, and you're going to hit hue saturation. This is where we'll be making the changes to the color and everything. And as you can see, it pops up over here, which we're not going to do anything to this right now. I just wanted to show you all that this is where we would be making the changes. But you also see the hue saturation layer up here at the top. So the next thing that we want to do is fill everything that we're not changing with the color black. So now you see that our model is no longer selected. We're in our hue saturation layer. We are going to use our quick selection tool, which it should already still be highlighted. But if not, just make sure you're clicking it again. I notice in a lot of tutorials, they don't tell you like to make sure that you still have the same tool selected. They just go ahead and start doing stuff. But what you want to do is just highlight the sections that you don't want to color. So I don't want her arm color to change. So all I'm doing is clicking and dragging. And basically Photoshop selects those sections for you. If it does go into like her shirt or whatever, and I'm going to do it just like this, you see how her shirt is now a part of it too. We don't want that. You can either do Control Z, which removes the last thing that you did, or you can hit Alt. Let me make this bigger. All right, so the plus sign is what we're in now. This adds to your selection. To remove it, you press the Alt button on the keyboard and then just hover over the part that you don't want included in that selection. So I'm just going to do Control Z just to go back. And I'm going to go back in and highlight her arm again. Once you have that selected, you want to come right back up here and go under Edit. And then you're going to hit Fill. The content should be black. And you hit OK. So now it didn't change over here. But over here, if you pay attention when you do it, you'll see that the part of her arm is now missing that was white. We're going to do the rest of her, so you'll be able to see how everything just blacks out. So once you feel that, make sure your quick selection tool is still the tool that you're using, which is this one right here. And you're just going to go in and do the same thing for all the other areas that you don't want to change colors. So right here, I have a little bit of her shirt selected, which is basically because I have, where we going? Because I have the brush a little bit too big. So I'm going to make the brush slightly smaller, and you do that by using the brackets on your keyboard. Oh, I'm adding. I hate when this doesn't work how I want it to, but you can go back in. Like if you see like a small section that you want to add, you can do this one by one or just do it in large sections. It depends on you and your preference. Okay, so basically the same thing we're going to do is fill this with black as well. And you can either go back up here to edit, go to fill, and then hit OK. Or you can press shift, hit delete, and then enter, and it brings up the fill options. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish doing the rest of this, and then we'll get into those next steps. Okay, so since I was kind of speeding through that, I don't really remember which parts I filled and didn't fill. So we can look at what parts are filled just by like basically switching up, doing the inverse of the fill. So what you want to do is hit Alt on your keyboard and then come right over here and click on this part of the hue saturation, and it switches over. So as you can see, like a little bit of her hair, like the frizz or whatever of her hair is gonna change colors. We don't want that, so I'm gonna go back in and fix that. And then right down here, we have some more white, which is part of her pants and I think her hand or something. And we're going to go back in and switch that as well. Another thing I don't see people doing when they're doing tutorials is telling you how to get off of the option. They just switch it back thinking that we already know what to do. But in order to go back to the original picture, you're just going to hold Alt again and press that hue saturation. We already have our quick selection tool selected. If not, come over here and click it. And I'm just going to take off those other parts that I saw that were in the original. And right up here with her hair, again, I'm going to go back in and just make it a little bit wider and see if that gets everything. All right, I'm going to check it again by pressing Alt and this little image right here. And it does look a little bit better, but it's still a little bit hanging off. But we will see as we go on. And just as a disclaimer, I am not a professional. This is something that I learned just playing around in Photoshop. If this is the right way, good for me. If it's not, it's just the way that I do it. So if you have other ways to do it, let me know, but it's not the perfect way. All right, so next thing we want to do is add another layer, which is how we kind of help create the colors that we really want. I don't really use it, but for the sake of this video, I am going to put it in here. So basically what we want to do is come over here to the layers tab, and we're going to create a group for the hue saturation layer, and then the next layer that we're going to add is called the curves layer. These two layers need to be in a group together because when you make changes to one, you want those changes to happen to both. Make sense? Okay. So all you want to do is create a group. I do this by hitting, is it Command? Command on a Mac plus G, and Windows plus G, or you can just do it like that by hitting this folder down here at the bottom. All right, so we have our group. Next thing we want to do is add the curves layer. And to add the curves layer, you want to come down here to this little part right here. Nope, that's not the right part. This one right here. I think it's the adjustment. The word's not coming up, but it's the circle with like the half fill or whatever. And you just want to select curves. And that way you see how it went ahead and went right into the group. So right here, this helps us change colors. I'll play with it a little bit when we get there. I usually don't use it for my projects, but I did learn that that helps as well. So going back into our hue saturation layer, we're going to come right here and hit colorize, and watch this. You see how her shirt changed? I do have my saturation up a little bit, but yeah, see how her shirt is changing colors? Like, y'all, when I learned how to do this, I went crazy. So this right here, of course, changed the colors. This adds more or less saturation and clearly lightness. All right, as you can see, I did miss a couple spots. You see a little, but that's why you just go in and take your time. I like to do it section by section. It takes longer, but it looks so much better once you're done. This was just for a quick tutorial, so it does kind of look a little and like I said before, make sure the shirt doesn't have anything on it. See right here, you can go in and remove this. It's just an extra step. So if your model has on like a shirt with text or something, that's something else that you would have to fill with black, which is why for practice I recommend just using a plain t-shirt. But that is pretty much it on how you changed the color of clothing in Photoshop. I really hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. Please, if you have any questions about this, let me know. I tried to explain it as simple as possible in a way that I would understand it. But if you do need a little bit more help, y'all make sure to comment down below. Or you can DM me on Instagram. It's at Yvetta Made It. It will also be linked below as well. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.